Hello out there. It is Tyler Lessard here, VP Marketing and Chief Video Strategist at Vidyard. And the best piece of advice I think I might have ever gotten is to stop talking about things and to just show it. Show and tell. From my very early days in kindergarten, show and tell, Phil.
Show and tell. Well, I see on the back there behind you, you've got, is that crayons? Is that you or your kids did that?
Well, I've been practicing my artwork lately, Phil, and my unicorns and rainbows are getting a heck of a lot better these days. It's one of my pandemic pastimes. So, yeah, no, that is my 6-year-old daughter's artwork. And yeah, I will finalize this with what I've found during this virtual age is that I spend more time looking at myself in the camera than I do anywhere else. So instead of putting my family artwork around me here, I put it behind me so I can always see it when I'm looking in the camera. Life hack.
See, that's great advice. That's really good advice. And I mean that, right? I've got a 6-year-old too. Now the good news is I sometimes actually see the refrigerator. So I actually will see
Right.
artwork there too. So yeah, no, but that's an interest, right? That's an interesting thing to jump here is, right, we do spend a lot of our time on camera. We do spend a lot of our time on video, and yet you might say it's honestly not enough, right? I mean, you guys just did this study, this awesome study that says, hey, we're not doing enough video for our prospecting, for our sales deals. What in the heck, Tyler? I mean, can we do more, or what does this mean?
Well, I think a lot of people either underestimate the impact and potential that video can have as a way that they communicate their messages. I think that a lot of people also just don't really understand how easy it can be to incorporate video into your day-to-day communications, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a salesperson, whether frankly you're an executive or just a business professional. And it hasn't been an integrated part of how we've grown up as business people, right? And when we think about video today, most of us just immediately think about Zoom. We're like, oh no, I already do way too many Zoom calls. Then you're like, well, hold on a second here. We're not just talking about live Zoom calls. I mean, what if, Phil, it was easier to hit the record button, record a quick message and send it to somebody than it was to type out an email? If it was genuinely easier to do that, would you maybe start sending some people some quick video messages instead of typing out an email? Well, guess what? It actually is easier. And so,
Yeah.
but most people just don't know it.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I do think it is about knowledge. Also, I would also say it's about comfort, right? We're used to sending email. I mean, I think back truly 30 years ago now, I really got my first email account. I was in the Navy, and I got my first email account, and it was inner office, and I'll tell you, it was really uncomfortable. Like, is it writing a letter to my mom with proper English, right? Dear Tyler, comma, return. I've had a really nice summer, and I mean, right? So, and I think video is a lot that way too, right? Do we address the person? Do we not? Right? How do we start? So let's go through a bit of this, and then let's go back to your cool report here, because I really think it's instructive. So addressing people, right? What do we do with that?
Well, when you are recording a video message, you got to be mindful of, are you doing something just like any other communications? Is this a one-to-one, a one-to-few, or a one-to-many? And video can now be used for all of those. And once you get comfortable with it, it does become second nature, much like writing an email or making a phone call or leaving a voicemail. But it really just does come back to that. I mean, this is just another way to communicate your message. If it is a one-to-many video you're recording to post on social media or send out an email blast, then I like to at least start it with, hey, it's Tyler from Vidyard here, right? Like something quick like that as a way to just get a little bit of that personality flowing and then jump into it. If I'm sending something that is a one to few, let's say it's 5 people at a certain business, call it Acme Co., then I might start with, hey, team at Acme Co., it's Tyler from Vidyard here. And finally, if I'm sending a video to you, Phil, well, I'm probably going to start it off with, hey, Phil, thanks so much for click and play. I wanted to send you a video because I thought it might be a better way to show you this rather than just tell it to you. So let's hop right into what it is that I have to say. And I think just being natural, right? Just as if you're having a conversation, I think is a really great way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is the most important piece of all of this is just be natural and understand it's not going to be perfect, and it's perfectly okay that it's not perfect. But what about scripting, right? Do we script? Do we not script? I mean, how do we get our message out so that,
Yeah.
to your point about one off, I'm not recording one video and then making 3 phone calls and making one video, right? I mean, should I batch these up? I mean, what do we do here, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend on your own style, your own comfort level with video, the environment that you're in, and it's how conducive it is to creating videos quickly or not. So everybody's going to have their own little flavor. But if you put it through the lens of a salesperson, so let's make that assumption. We're talking about a sales rep who is reaching out to prospects, is responding to potential deals, and maybe is interacting with existing customers as well. There may be times where they're trying to answer a question, they're about to type back an email, and they say, you know what, I should just record a quick video. Maybe I'll show something on my screen to explain a little bit better. And that may very well be an ad hoc video. Hit the record button. Hey, Tyler here. I wanted to walk you through this more visually. So here's what I have to say. And that can absolutely be a one-off, very casual, and something where you can use a screen share, not just a webcam, to also, again, make it a little bit even easier on you that you're not the center of attention. In other cases where you're doing outbound prospecting, which is a very common use case for video messages today, that's a perfect time for you to do something like you alluded to, of batching them together and saying, yeah, instead of like recording a video, then making a cold call, then typing out an email, is block off a time for your day called 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Make sure it's a time when you feel like, okay, it's going to be quiet in my environment. I know I can be ready with good lighting. I can put myself into this. And now let's crank out 5, 10, 15 videos, whatever it happens to be. And in doing that, one of the benefits as well, especially when you're prospecting, is if it's a pretty consistent message each time, every rhythm you have, you get more confident and comfortable. And by the third or fourth time, you're cranking them. You're just doing great because you're like, yep, I know my message. It's a bit of a different name, maybe a slightly different tweak on my value prop, but I get really comfortable and really efficient with it. And that becomes a really nice piece.
Yeah, it gets quicker, right? That efficiency happens, and now we can say what we said in 90 seconds and 60 seconds and maybe in 45 seconds, and really tighten that up. And I would say sometimes those first videos you record, then repeat them at the end so that you can make sure that you have the best take and the best energy, so that everybody gets your best instead of just your people in the middle. Because sometimes, right, we start out and we're long, and sometimes at the end we get a little shorter. So I think giving folks that a little more berth there, and then being okay that it's not perfect and it's not exactly what you wrote down, what you thought you were going to say. I mean, that's okay, right?
Yeah. Well, and I'll give you 2 quotables for that idea, Phil. First one is, you asked about scripting or off the cuff, and I think the right idea there is to be prepared but not scripted. Okay, so that's an important one there. Be prepared but not scripted. So go into your video knowing what it is you want to say, right? Don't try to go in and freestyle it. Never works out. So know the cadence of what you want to say. Know how you want to open and close it. Understand the main message, but don't be reading a script. So be prepared but not scripted. The second thing, back to what you had alluded to, is it's about connection, not perfection. And that's a really important thing to be mindful of. If you're striving for perfection in videos that you make, you are going to hate making videos, and it is going to become very inefficient for you. But if you're comfortable with the fact that, hey, this is just a way for me to connect with my audience, with the person on the other end here, and it's okay if I stumble a little bit, if I repeat myself a little bit, maybe I went a little bit long in that cut. You know what? Doesn't matter. End it and send it. And as long as you come across natural and get your message out there, you're okay.
Yeah, end it and send it. I like that one too. That's a good one, Tyler, for sure, man. Like, get it done and then go. Now, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, well, Tyler works at Vidyard, so of course he wants video. But here's the thing. They recently did a state of virtual selling where they found that video email outperforms text-based email by, get this, 70%, right? 70% of sales pros say these custom recorded videos perform better at producing opens, clicks, and I would say responses, most importantly, right, than text-based email. So do you really think, Tyler, is it because it's new or because it's really efficient and we're able to connect, man? Like you said, right? It's about connection, not perfection. Probably all the above, but what do you think?
I think it is. It's a mix of different factors, which is actually what makes it really powerful at this moment in time here. I think number one for most people receiving a video message in an email is that it is very different. It's a little bit new. It stands out from everything else in their inbox, and by very nature of that, they're more likely to pay attention to it. Our eyes are drawn to visuals and movement. So if you have an animated thumbnail image, again, we're inherently and psychologically drawn to look at that and to engage with it. But it also does a couple of other things that I think help with that viewing rate and that response rate, right? One is that even just seeing the fact that this person made me a video gives you a sense that that person put more effort into this, right? That they took the time to make me a video. And there's this good old law of reciprocity where we tend to try to reciprocate at a same level of effort that was put into something for us. So if somebody took the time to actually make me a video, I feel more inclined to put that same level of effort back in. So I'm more inclined to watch it and respond, as opposed to when I know somebody copy and pasted a template. Yeah, I put in the same amount of work. I drag it to the trash bin, right? So there's those things going on where it's not just it catches their attention, it shows you put in the level of investment, and it also creates that more personal connection. Just them seeing seeing your face and hearing your voice, and that creates rapport. It creates familiarity, and it can also actually help with our content retention. Because if we're in this state of mind where we're leaning into a message, we're hearing it, we're seeing it, we're actually more likely to retain it as well. So all of these are factors that, I think can help us better communicate with a quick little video.
Absolutely. Good. I'm glad to hear that it's more than one thing. That's super important. One of the other findings in your report that I found great is that it actually helps us close more deals too, which I think, I don't know, I want to get paid more. I don't know about you, Tyler, but I like more money. So what is that? What does that mean? Like, what did you find there? How does it help with closing, do you think?
Well, this was, I think, a really interesting and exciting finding from the report where, again, this surveyed hundreds and hundreds of different sales reps, some of whom are using video, some of whom aren't. But for those using video, we found that not only were a high percentage of them using it for prospecting, but many of them reported using video messages and screen share recordings at various points throughout their sales process, with the goal of achieving different outcomes at different points. So with prospecting, their main goals, not surprisingly, were to get higher response rates. But then using other types of videos, like short recorded demos, or a video message before or after a meeting to prep the prospect or to do a recap, right? Short videos to circulate with members of the buying committee who may not have ever joined a live Zoom call, so they could hear your value proposition from you as a person without having to rely on phone tag. So there's all these use cases that people reported. And back to your original point, they're seeing that those other videos throughout the sales cycle are both helping them shorten deal cycles. I think it was about half of respondents indicated that videos are also helping them shorten deal cycles and also then increase their close rate because they're building a better relationship. They're connecting with more people in an account personally. And they're, again, just showing that investment, and the experience they're delivering is so much better than other sales reps who are relying on emails and Zoom calls exclusively, which were kind of burned down on both.
Yeah, no doubt about that. For sure. I get too many emails, and I'm on Zoom darn near all day here. So, wow. So let's, I think also one of the things that was really surprising to me is that nearly 60% of the sales pros who use custom recorded video say that it increased their productivity. Now, this kind of surprises me. I have to say, it increased productivity. What? Talk to me about that, Tyler.
It is. It's interesting. So productivity and efficiency are two big things that people tend to have as objections to using video. And they say, well, I could type out an email and it's going to take me 20 seconds to crank it out. But if I record a video, I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 takes, and it might take me 3 minutes. So that's way less efficient. Same message, 5 times the length to create it. But here's the thing. Those who are doing video well, back to that point of they're seeing a much higher response rate, a much higher engagement rate, right? I know there's all sorts of these great stats, but I know one of our customers reported that on average, it used to take 50 phone calls or 100 emails to get a response, it now takes 10 videos to accomplish that same result. So when you do the math and you say, it might take a little bit longer to make the video, but if my response rates are doubling, my productivity is going through the roof because I don't have to make all those phone calls or send all those emails anymore. I can be way more efficient with my time. So that's how people have to look at this. They have to think about my overall productivity and efficiency. Is it going up or down when I try new tactics like these? And it's not always just the time you're spending doing that tactic. It's like, well, what time is it saving you? Because you don't have to be doing these other things that aren't quite as effective.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super, super helpful, right? So some of the efficiencies that you talk about in the report are, fewer touches, as you said, right? So, less long meetings, which I hate long meetings, right? So reduce video call fatigue, that Zoom gloom that we get sometimes. And then those emails that are, 26 paragraphs long that I'm like,
yeah,
why'd you send me? Oh, whoa. I mean, that email should have been a meeting probably, but it could be a video as well. So lots of great stuff in there. You guys surveyed tons and tons of sales professionals, which I certainly love. And Tyler, maybe it's me, man. Are you actually giving this report away to people that they can go and get, and they don't have to they don't have to know you? Is that right?
Yeah, you know what? If you want to connect with me and ask for the special Tyler treatment, please feel free. But it is freely available for anybody that's interested on vidyard.com, and you can go to our resources. You'll find it. Or again, if you can't, connect with me on LinkedIn, or just Google for Vidyard, the state of virtual selling, and you'll find it. But it is a really interesting report that does go into a few different areas of virtual selling, dives deep on this use of recorded and asynchronous video. And it also ties back to another research report that we just recently did a couple of months ago that was actually a neuroscience study, which was super fun because in this case, this is survey-based, saying what do people say that they're doing and say what they're seeing. The neuroscience study we did, we actually got the opportunity to hook up the ECG caps to people's brains, the GSR and the eye tracking software, to see how people from a neuroscience perspective actually reacted to and processed video emails instead of traditional emails. And that one was super interesting as well, and actually seeing how the brain actually responds to these different types of stimuli. And not surprisingly, there were some consistencies through these reports in terms of people, their brains actually responding more positively to video than to text, videos being more memorable than the text-based content, and also at holding people's attention better because of the use of visuals. So it's really interesting to see these two reports kind of come together and say, our body says we prefer it, the reps say that at work, and ultimately what you're getting from these is not just the stats, but there's all sorts of takeaways of what does this mean for you as a salesperson? How can you best take advantage of video? So check it out.
Wow, that's awesome. So let's get folks into action here. I love to share stats and stories and stuff like that, but I also like to get people into action. So Tyler, give us maybe 2 or 3 steps. If this is our first time, we're like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this. I want to take advantage of this. Now, first I'm going to say, sign up for a free Vidyard account. So I actually have a landing page because you guys were nice enough to sponsor me last month. You are not sponsoring me this month, to be clear. So Tyler, I am expecting a check next month, just to be clear, right? No, just kidding. So although I'll take it, but vidyard.com/philgerb will take you to a free Vidyard account that you can sign up for. And I encourage you to do that. No obligation on that. They're not hound dogs. They're not going to jump all over you, though certainly they are going to try to add value to your life like Tyler's doing today. But what are a couple steps, Tyler, if people are like, oh crap, man, I really know I need to do this. How do I get started?
Yeah, once you've got a tool like Vidyard, the nice thing is that it makes this very easy, the process of recording a video, dropping the thumbnail image and a link into the email and sending it off. And they click on it, the video plays back, and you'll get notified if and when they watched it. So the role of Vidyard as a tool set is to make that as easy and reliable as possible. But the real magic comes back to how you use it, right? Vidyard at the end of the day is just a tool. And it's all about how do you start thinking about, when to send videos, what are you going to say in those videos, and how is it going to add value to the conversation that you're having. So that's really where I encourage people to think outside the box, but really at the end of the day, anytime you're going to send an email to a prospect or a customer, that's an opportunity to hit the record button, to say it, to put your personality out there, to show something on your screen rather than just talking about it, and to deliver it as a short video. And I encourage you to sort of start there and just think about those moments when you are sending outbound emails or responding to an email. Pause and say, could this be better delivered as a quick video message? As for all the reasons that we talked about here, and just start trying it out. It's as simple as that. And it's also a great tool to use internally with your colleagues or coworkers, which can be a great way for you to get more comfortable on camera as well. Where not every video has to go out to a customer who may judge you. You can send one to, again, your peers at the office, your friends, your family, and every time you use it, you're going to get a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident in front of the camera. So hopefully that helps. Phil, do you have any other tips? Because, you're a video boss yourself, and you've been using Vidyard for quite a while too. What about yourself?
Yeah. Well, so I would say, do think about what you want to say, right? That's really important. Do think about the different types of videos that you want to shoot. We got let's call it a cold message, even if you don't think it's prospecting, right? If somebody doesn't know you, that's cold. So think about that and think about, okay, how do I look? What do I want to say? What background do I want on that? And be deliberate about that. And I would also say, for those types of videos, you want to use your phone instead of your browser. Turn it around so that you're not looking at yourself. So to your point earlier, right, I look way too much at myself on camera. So flip that around and be okay that you can't see it, and just trust, right? Shoot it a couple of times and then go buy yourself a tripod. Buy yourself a tripod and understand that that is a great tool. You could set it on a table. You could set it on the floor. You can set it anywhere, and then just get started. That's the other thing that I would say, right? Like, to your point, I love your reminder that we can share this internally as well as externally. You can practice with your mom, right? Or you can practice with my mom, but probably not. She won't respond to you. She just got an iPhone 12 though, so I'm pretty proud of her. So she moved from 8 to 12, so I bought her a new phone, and she did figure it out. So I'm thumbs up to that. Mom's not using Vidyard yet though, Tyler, so maybe next week. But for real, like, practice it out with people that you feel comfortable with, and then just get going. That's my best advice.
Yeah. It's it's a way to communicate your message. Don't get too hung up on thinking about I'm producing a video or anything of that nature. This is just a way to communicate our messages now, and you can hop on a live Zoom call, or you can record and send a quick message to somebody via video. And again, I think this is really just going to be an important part of the go forward state of how we communicate. We're seeing video being incorporated in a lot of the communication tools we now use. Slack has video integrated into it. Many others are adding it because it's just becoming a way that it makes sense for us to communicate. So if you're still not comfortable in front of the camera, if you're not comfortable hitting record and making a message, no better time than now, I think, to start to feel this out, to get used to it, because it's a skill and a capability we're going to be using from here on out, frankly. So,
yeah, and end it and send it. That one piece. I love that. I really love that. And I want to remind folks, it's all about connection, not about perfection, as Tyler said. So if you want to, if you need stats, right, to back this up, because you're one of those people that needs these decisions, right, get the State of Virtual Sales research. That's fantastic. Truly fantastic stuff. And then This Is Your Brain on Video is a really great report as well. Definitely pick that up. Vidyard's giving a ton of stuff away to help us sell better, help you make more sales. Try some new stuff, friends. If you're listening to this and you're like, just try it. If you want to test it with me, right, you can always test with me. You can always email me, right? Always Phil at philgerbishek.com. You send me a text, whatever. I want to help too. Just let me know, and let's do this so that you can connect with your ideal customer, so you can make more sales, so you can be more productive by using a great tool like Vidyard. So thanks so much, Tyler. As always, man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you to everybody tuning in here. Hope you walked away with a couple new ideas. Can't wait to see what you all create out there.
Yeah, for sure.